I've spent the last 4 years paddling with LED lights. And to be totally honest, I prefer the incandescent fluorescent versions over those bad boys any day. But the world's trajectory is this.
The two biggest battles I've had to deal with when it comes to LED lights is sunburns and heat. Now, the old school lights, I was able to set it and forget it. I mean, they're not without their faults. They definitely resulted in leggy plants quite often. But leggy plants are easy to correct compared to crispy leaves. Now, if you grab the wrong LED lights, it actually limits your vertical growing space as well. And that's something I definitely need.
But this is no longer an issue because I've hacked the system with girl math. What I mean by that is every video on the internet is way too complicated and my eyes glaze over. I really don't care about the math behind lights. I just want to set the damn things up. And so today's video, I'm going to teach you the girl math way of LED lights for seed starting. So the first thing we need to look at is quality, because if you're looking to purchase a light, you want a good quality one. If you already have the light, you're shit out of luck. We'll talk about that later. But if you haven't purchased the light yet, let's talk about quality. Welcome to class.
Ride on the magic school bus.
This is a graph with light spectrum wavelength thingies. And this is a bamboo stick. Anyways, this graph is wavelength spectrums of light. And this is all the different colors that are in the light. And all you care about when you look at this thing is that it has a blue one and it has a red one, and that the blue and the red are high. That's quality, seriously. So plants uptake all the colors. Common misconception is they only take up red and blue, and they don't take up green, which is why they are green. But that's not true. They do take in some green light. However, for the world of grow lights, we care about red and we care about blue. And all we care about is that there is a spike. The numbers on the side don't really matter, and the numbers on the bottom don't matter either. Is there numbers on the bottom? I don't even know if there's numbers on the bottom. Is there numbers on the bottom? There are numbers on the bottom. Like I said, they don't matter. Red and blue do though. Red always matters. Just saying. Now, the reason why I say the numbers don't matter is because if you're stuck with that light, we can still make it work. And the way we can make it work is with factors we can actually deal with and change is intensity. So intensity we can change by height, adjusting the height of our light. We can also change intensity by dimness or our dimmer if they're present. There's also the number of bulbs, which we can't really change once we have the light, but it's something to think about when you're buying the light. Too much light and everything dies. Too low and you have scraggly looking plants. Hello again, students. Here is another fancy thing with numbers. The numbers I do not care about because my brain can't comprehend them. What I do care about are the colors. And a couple numbers. There's a couple numbers we care about on this one. Okay, so this is called the PPFD map. If you have a good quality light, you probably have a PPFD. If you don't have that anymore because the light is old, or you're dealing with the old school light, or you've kind of made your own grow light, now you have trial by fire, literally, where you just need to figure it out on your own by burning plants. As a soulless ginger, this does not bother me. If it bothers you, then make sure you do it with plants that you don't really care about because they may not survive. So there's a couple things you're gonna see on your PPFD map. Number one is you may or may not have one of the numbers, and that is the number luminosity. Luminosity, see, I shouldn't be teaching you anything. Luminosity is a fancy term for what the dial is at on the dimmer. So 50% luminosity is literally just the dimmer on 50%. 25% the dimmer. It's just a really fancy way of saying half strength, if you will, which is something I know nothing about, full strength only. So that is the number one part. So you need to take that into consideration. We'll talk about where you want to start at if you're going to test things out for your own to see how it works. The other number you care about is the height. So sometimes the map won't have luminosity, but it'll have different heights. So it'll have like 12 inch, 16 inch, 8 inch. For example. So what this means is if the light is 12 inches away from the canopy, the top of the canopy, not the bottom, the top of the canopy, or in the case of seedlings, the top of the seed cell. If I'm 12 inches away at 100% luminosity, that is what the little chart thingy is gonna look like, or the numbers are gonna look like. And you'll notice that those numbers are a lot higher than the numbers here, which are at 25% luminosity at 12 inches. So this is a plant and this is the canopy. What we care about, what the 12 inches distance means, is 12 inches from the top of the canopy. So not the top of this, the top of the highest point on the canopy, which is here. So we're going 12 inches above that. Now, if we're talking about seed starting, we're talking about 12 inches from soil level. Make sense?
If the PPFD map is not an option for you, give this a shot. What you want to do is take nursery pots, put lettuce in them, and then place one in the middle and then one on each corner. And you could put more, making a giant egg. You're going to wait for everything to germinate. And from there, if everything comes out leggy, you're going to move the light closer. If the plants come out burnt or very compact, then you need to lift your light up. And you want to do this before it's time to start seeds, so you have time to ensure that you have the light at the right adjustment. You also could obviously utilize the dimmer in this case as well, if that's an option for you. If you have the middle as kind of a hot spot and the outsides as areas where things are leggy and long, then you need to make the decision as to whether or not you skip putting anything on the ends, or if you skip putting anything in the middle in the event that you're burning things, or your other option is to choose lower light plants on the outsides of the grow light and then growing, say, your tomatoes and peppers on the inside of the light. So you need to maybe negotiate what plants go where underneath light proper.
Now, the last factor we control involves us being God. Let there be light. Timing of light. How long? How little? All that stuff. If you are a part of the elite group, that is the Geek Crew, you've probably heard me talk about this concept already. And if you're not in the Geek Crew and you want to join an elite group of silly people, hit the subscribe button. Totally free. And we will adopt you. No problems. No questions asked at all. We have adoptions successfully placed all over the world, not just from Canada. And everyone gets a little bit of info out of this. And we like to keep it that way. Anyways, I digress. GDUs is something I've spoken about before. And it's essentially the accumulation of units before a plant is ready to harvest. So every plant has a number of units that need to be collected before it can be harvested. Turns out lighting is similar to that. So you're probably thinking now, well, let me just max out the numbers by leaving the light on for 24 hours. Well, unfortunately, there are some things that need to take place in the dark that definitely don't take place in the light or aren't as effectively done when it's light or daylight out. So we do need to ensure that there is at least 8 to 10 hours of complete darkness. And by complete, I mean you don't want any grow lights going on in the room at all. And you also want it to be timed so that it's not dark where the grow lights are on, but daylight and sun streaming in from the outside. We want to avoid that as well. We want dark. The plants go to bed when you go to bed. So I'm going to paint a picture here for you. Let's pretend you and all your plant friends are going out for some drinks. And the goal when we're going out for drinks is to get tipsy, but not messy drunk. Everyone is different weights, different metabolisms, you name it. And more importantly, they all have different drink desires. Now, say you have a group of friends that are sipping on some good old Canadian beer. You can take back 4, 5, 6 of these beer, and that could equate to a liter of beer, several ounces of beer, before the tipsy hits. Say the other group has decided their favorite is just straight shots of tequila. They are not watered down whatsoever. We are going ounce for ounce. Well, these folks, they're not going to be able to ingest the same volume of liquid compared to the Canadian beer folk. They are going to get full tipsy much quicker than the people sipping on Canadian beer. Now, your last group is going to be those that are sipping on an American beer. And these guys, they can probably push back 10, 11, 12 beer, no problem, and still probably aren't feeling anything. These guys have what you could consider the lower quality light. Takes a lot longer for them to get to the same stage,
as the Canadian beer drinkers and the tequila folk.
Lights are similar. If you have a very good quality light at the proper height, at the proper luminosity, you end up with tequila. You're going to get your plant tipsy much quicker, and it's not going to need as many hours or as much volume of light to hit its number. Now, the beer drinker folk are kind of your middle of the range light quality. These guys, they need a little bit more hours of light, a little bit more volume to get to the same place as the tequila plants. Now, the last group is just your American beer drinkers. These guys gotta drink a lot to get tipsy, and these can be compared to maybe your old school incandescent fluorescent lights or a shop light that you've converted, or window light, for example. The lights have to be on longer for the plant to fill its reservoir up enough to get it to anywhere near the same performance level of the first two. So what I just explained to you in alcoholic terms is called the DLI. These are the daylight integrals. And every plant has a number, actually a range of DLI units that need to be accumulated. And as you can imagine, things like tomatoes, peppers, succulents, cacti, they have a higher DLI range than something like a coleus or a brassicae or a spinach, that sort of thing. They have a lot lower range. So if you know you have a lower quality light and or your testing showed a leggier plant, you may want to consider leaving that light on for up to 16 hours. Keep in mind, you want to land somewhere between 10 and 8 hours of darkness. So you want to go for 8 hours of darkness, and then the rest of it preferably is going to be the light on. If you have an intense light, something that is much more powerful, then you could go closer to the 10-hour range. I wouldn't go less than 10 hours daylight, to be honest, and I wouldn't go over 16 hours daylight for a majority of cases. Now, if you care about what your light specifically is giving you and you really want to math this out, there is a formula you can use, and it's actually pretty simple to follow. All you need to do is use 0.0036, sounds like I'm giving you my phone number, times by your PPFD for the square you're looking at. So in the map that I had shown you with the red section, we're in the 600s. For the yellow or orange sections, we're in the 300s. You're going to times the number in that box by the number of hours that your light is on. This is going to give you a number. This number has to fall in the range of the plant that you're growing. If it does, you will be just fine. If it falls below that, then you need to adjust either the luminosity or the duration that the light is on. If it's too high, you need to either go up in height, turn your luminosity down, or give it fewer hours of total light. Now, if you don't give a flying foreskin about any of that, then all you need to do is purchase a Earth One sensor and it'll do all math for you. Literally all of it. It'll tell you when to turn your lights on and off and if the intensity is correct. And it's actually even more valuable because it'll take into consideration the lights outside, so your sunlight, the lights in the room, and the grow light. It takes in the ambient lighting total. It's better than a PPFD, man. And it's idiot proof too, because I helped make it and I don't like this techie stuff. Now, if you want to learn more from me, it's a life choice, not a good one. Check out this video right here. That's my most recent one. That is what Google says you should watch. They know everything. They're techie, unlike me.